On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Cole gets his Dredgen second award, Ethan times that jump button just right, and Tony rides a horse into battle. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I am your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey.
What's up?
Nothing. What's up with you?
I have a mess of a pile of GameCube stuff just sitting in my floor that needs to be cleaned up.
Were you playing on GameCube?
I had kids coming over today, and they wanted to play some Mario Party on the GameCube, but I don't have a TV that will play a GameCube.
Interesting.
So I had to go to Walmart and buy a converter for the composite cables to plug in to my TV. And then we ended up actually not even getting to play Mario Party because they forgot to bring their controllers with them. And I only have 2 GameCube controllers.
How dare they?
So I had taken it downstairs. I tested out a couple of games because they wanted to borrow Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario. So I took it downstairs because I haven't played those games in years because I haven't had a way to play a GameCube. So I tested them to make sure they worked and let them borrow those games. And then I had to bring the GameCube back upstairs to the game room. And so it's just piled in the floor waiting to be put back on the shelf.
Okay.
But in trade, while they're borrowing Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario, I have the original Animal Crossing and Pikmin.
Both of those are interesting games.
Neither of which I have ever played, so there you go. Animal Crossing is very, very different on the GameCube than it is now.
The good old days of playing Animal Crossing on the GameCube were fantastic because the characters on there, if they hated you, they made sure you knew it. They're honest.
After the first few minutes of meeting them all, at least 3 of them made fun of my name.
Yeah, these characters are not sugarcoating anything. They are like the best.
No, Animal Crossing has gotten much nicer over the years.
Yeah, you're really building villages with snowflakes in the newer games. Don't know if I'm using that term right, but it seems correct to me.
Well, also joining us this week, we've got Cole.
Cabal beware, you're in for a scare.
Have you been waiting for a Destiny rhyme?
I've been practicing my...
You should start after I introduce you every week, a new Destiny rhyme.
Right.
Well, I am imagining that means
territory.
You have probably been playing Destiny this week.
Yes. I've got Destiny on the mind. I've got Destiny in the disc slot. So,
in fact, I know you've been playing Destiny because I watched your stream a couple times this week.
Yes, yeah. Well, thank you.
Wait, you're playing it off the disc?
No.
Oh,
not even. No.
About to say, you're crazy, man.
No, both systems I play it on are hard drive only. Although I do own it on both discs.
Same.
Yeah, this week I hit it hard and heavy trying to get some more of those challenges. Technically, there's enough challenges with this week that you can get the season's challenges done.
Oh.
I need about 5 of them to get to that point. One of them excluding the trials wins, I think. No, I got the trials wins. God, what? I don't know. I think the ones I'm closest to are get Valor ranks. I got to play some, and then Nightfalls. I got to do the Nightfall on Grandmaster, which I just last night, or I think it was last night. I just basically got the minimum the last requirement, which is you have to be at least 1325 power, and I got a artifact power level up, so I hit that minimum and then actually went up one over it as well.
Nice.
So I'll be doing the Nightfall. I would do it tonight, but it's a little late. So I'll do it tomorrow. Look for a fire team. I was doing last time you saw me streaming, whatever, I was playing Gambit a lot because I was trying to get my gilded title, which is what the intro thing's about. Is with this last, I'd say this season, yeah, this is the first season, where they introduced gilded titles for the core four, so you can. There's their main four activities: the PvPs, trials for the sweaties, Crucible for the less sweaty but still sweaty, Grandmaster Nightfalls for the PvE people, and Gambit's Dredgen for the people who like a mix of both.
Okay.
They got the gilded versions of these, and so I already had the Dredgen title. I'm gilding it this season by doing a couple of things. I think they had 8 things you had to do. The last thing I had to do on the list was get 50 wins, which I'd have a lot of good matches in a row, and I'd be like, okay, this is going to be like 5 more minutes. And then I'd start getting teams that just didn't know how to play at all, and I was like, all right, this will take a lot longer. But got a good couple of bottom dollar hand cannons, some weapons and stuff. I'm playing that. Got my title gilded, so now it says Dredgen, little gold glow.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember when I turned on your stream one day this week, you were doing some of that, and you were having some issues with one of the players on the other team just like immediately sniping you as soon as you would make yourself visible.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I feel like this guy's aimbotting because I'd come over and then I'd be headshot immediately. He'd come in and he would headshot 2 of us like from the get go, and it's like, okay, I understand people that are really good. Like he's got a trials emblem, so surely he's good at PvP, but like the rapid popping me before I would come out around, or the second I would show up out of a corner, like I was mixing up the way I would leave. I'd like, okay, I'll slide out this time, I'll peek out normal this time, I'll jump up in the air this time. Like he automatically was shooting me in the head when I would come around. I'm like, okay, I'm not cool with that.
That sounds cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, I was excited. I got my first gilded title, so I feel like I'm really sticking true to that Dredgen title, even though it's technically a bad guy thing.
I don't have it, so that's cool.
They the next title I'm going for is the Conqueror, do the Grandmaster Nightfalls, and that's one of the core. So I can get. I don't know if it'll be gilded, because this will be my first award on it, but there are less things I have to do this season to get the title, because like for Dredgen you already had the title and then it was like, all right, here's 6 things you got to do on top of it. But for Grandmaster it's like, all right, you don't have it, but here's 4 things you got to do to get it.
Okay.
And they're relatively easy. You got to do 6 Grandmaster strikes. I've already got 3, so those actually already count towards it. So I just have to do 3 more. 1 of each element. So you find a week that's easier than the others or whatever. You just do it 4 different times. There's like 2 other ones I can't remember, but they're both pretty easy comparatively. They're just like, I don't know, do it under so many minutes or without like dying too many times or something. So, not really anything new going on in Destiny. Just a lot of end of the season stuff. We already talked about getting chosen last week, which was the last new thing for us, and then it's just working on your last stuff to get done with the season before they introduce the next storyline.
Yeah.
I've been playing some mobile games on my phone. I try not to talk about mobile games too much because I feel like, oh yeah, I'm a gamer. I play Candy Crush or whatever.
Ugh. Let's not talk about Candy Crush.
Yeah.
No one plays Candy Crush.
No, I don't play Candy Crush.
That's right, you don't.
Anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah. One of these, I've been investing in games I've been playing, but I've been putting off talking about it because I don't know, because it's a mobile game. But I'll probably talk about that next week.
I mean, there are some legitimate games out there that are really fun to play on mobile and are worth talking about.
This is a money grab. It's not like super interesting, but I haven't been enjoying it. I want to talk about it at some point, but I spent about I want to say $16 on this game so far.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones where it's like, oh, there's different VIP levels.
You could get all this stuff if you give us this money.
I know. I can. I'm like right next to the next VIP upgrade, and I'm like, no. I only like to spend money whenever it looks like I'm getting bonuses. Like you get 100 diamonds for $1, and like I know, but I want it to say that I'm getting 200 diamonds for $1. So
Yeah. Well, like I've been playing that Crash game on mobile. It's a free to play money grab game just like everything else. But I actually did spend a little bit of money on that as well because they have a season pass that as you're playing you can earn experience and it'll give you costumes and resources to be able to play the game a little faster. So I'm not, as much as I talk about mobile games being awful, I do occasionally find one that I really like and will spend a little bit of cash on it.
Yeah, like so that random dice game that I talked about that one time, I still played that a lot, and they have events and stuff that happen in it, and I've paid the one-time thing of it, and that's it. And it's a really fun game. Like I'm still up to it. But this one that I want to talk about next week, it's you have those games, and it's like, all right, click an ad to get or watch this ad to get like a revive or what game. And then it's one of those clickbait games, and I was like, well, this looks kind of cool. So I downloaded it, and I've been playing it pretty much almost the entire time that I've been playing this other game too. And it was definitely a clickbait because it was like, oh look, a puzzle. I'm like, I like puzzles.
And the puzzles are hardly ever in the game.
Exactly, the puzzles lasted the first like 12 levels or so, and then there haven't been any more. And then I'll still get ads for that game in that game with these other types, and I'm like, this is not in the game at all. I would love to play this game, but it's not, that mini game's not in there.
Yeah, that leads to that game theory video for how are they getting away with advertising this.
Exactly. Yeah, I see that all the time, and I'm like, click this, but I don't have time to watch that game theory right now. Because once I start watching one of the game theory movies, I get 4 or 5 deep, and I'm like, all right, well, I needed to go to bed 3 hours ago.
I run into that issue of spending a little too much time on things whenever I go down a TikTok rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, you do know TikTok. Okay.
I do know TikTok. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but every once in a while I find something that's funny, and I will go down a little bit of a rabbit hole and lose track of time.
Yes, so easy too. Speaking of going down a rabbit hole and losing track of time, so that's Destiny 2. Ethan, you've been jumping on stuff, so I tried to put together. I think that's the main point of this game. Yes.
Sure. If you don't count that I'm playing Super Metroid at this very moment.
Not that one.
No, I
The
mean,
other
like,
game.
literally, I'm playing Super Metroid right now. Pausing the game so I can talk.
Okay.
Uh, 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 Thursday night, I was like, man, I want to play Super Mario RPG. So,
You're a big fan of that game.
really am. So, I played Super Mario RPG on stream. There was like a 30-minute delay from the actual start. Like, I started and stopped.
Yeah, I saw that. I got the notification on Twitter that you had gone live, and I went to the stream and it
Yep.
said you're offline. So
Yeah,
it's like,
some issues came up where I realized game audio wasn't going through
mm,
OBS or Streamlabs at all, and I couldn't figure out why. I finally got that settled. I don't know why. All I had to do was open up the Elgato program and then close it, and OBS started kicking in the sound. Might have been like an update at some point on one or the other, and it just needed to cycle something through on the
yeah,
program.
it just needed a reset.
So got that fixed, and I was like, all right, cool. Audio's going through. I'm gonna play the game now, and so I did. Uh, gosh, I don't know. I guess I can play that whole thing on stream. I don't know. It's one of those games where it's like really good, but I just want to play it for a set amount of time because I know I'm not going to want to play through the whole thing.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I really want to finish the whole thing. But there's other stuff that's got more priority.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be running into that issue with Final Fantasy 13 because I started playing that on stream this week because I've wanted to do that for a long time.
Yeah, I really need to finish 13.3 still. Lightning Returns, for those who are unaware. That's going to be a really hard thing to do, especially when the PSN goes down for
Oh yeah,
PlayStation 3. Unless they give us some weird backwards compatibility things sometime on PS4 and 5.
it is on PC, isn't it?
Yeah, but all my stuff, like, you have outfits in that game that give you abilities.
Yeah.
And if you played the first two games and then played some other games and some demos and stuff, you have a lot more outfits in that game on whatever you did all that stuff on. So, also, if you played like the second game, whatever outfits you had the sister and her love interest in, they're going to be wearing those DLC outfits in this game as well.
Okay.
Whatever you left them in. So that's one of the things I have to deal with.
Yeah, I can understand wanting to play it on. If you've got all that stuff that's tied to it, I'd want to,
Yeah.
play it there as well.
Yeah, I'll get to that eventually. Depending how if someone paid me to do it. Or if there was enough interest in it and people were willing to actually watch a stream, I would just go through it on there and call it good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Super Mario RPG, this game came out in, what, 97?
Yeah, it's a 90s game.
And, I mean, it's old in style, but the charm there, and it's still fun. Because it's like an RPG, but you also have your platforming, and there's like really good music with it too. And it's all Super Mario related stuff too, even though it's like a Final Fantasy game.
Now, is this like a spiritual precursor to Paper Mario?
This is the first of the Mario RPG games.
Yeah, this is what led to Paper Mario being made.
Yeah.
Because Paper Mario started out as Super Mario RPG 2.
Okay, yeah.
It was a sequel for the N64. And then they just dropped it and they're like, let's just call this Paper Mario. Because Square Enix had no involvement. They couldn't use some of the certain characters that were like Mello and Gino and stuff. It would be really awesome if we could get like a sequel to Super Mario RPG or a
I think it would be
remake
really
or
cool.
something. I don't know. I mean, we asked for Geno and Smash for years, and what do we get? We get a me outfit for the fighter thing.
Yep.
So, just
Yeah,
insult to
Sephiroth.
injury. No one asked for Sephiroth.
Cloud did. Cloud did by name.
No,
I'm pretty
Sephiroth
sure he
asked for
didn't.
Cloud. No one asked for him, though. But it's kind of neat going into Super Mario RPG when you've played it before, and they're like, "Hey, do you know about timed hits?" You're like, "Yeah, I know about timed hits."
I've played a Mario RPG game before.
It doesn't mean you're good at timed hits; it just means you know about them.
The biggest problem that I have with Super Mario RPG is the isometric 45-degree angle stuff.
Yeah,
Like-
I could. That is definitely a problem because it's like, "Hey, which way do you need to go? Down."
Well, how do I go down?
Is
You
that
go
down
right.
left or down right?
Yeah.
Which way is actually north? And that actually came back to get me on the game. Oh, geez, with the forest maze on there because there was like directions to find a hidden treasure there, and it's like, okay, well, I'm assuming this way is up. Well, apparently not. And then you find out like years later, it's like, oh, it's based on which direction I'm facing at the time. So if you like came in from this side over here, so it's go straight, and say, oh, take a left. Okay. Kind of like playing. It's kind of like playing Sonic 3. You get to the Carnival Night Zone, and you land on this thing that moves up and down when you jump on it, and you didn't know that you can press up and down on the D-pad. So you just keep jumping on it, trying to time your jumps to get through there. And then you feel like an idiot 20 years later when you find out the trick to it was that simple. And then you just secretly hate the person who made Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yuji Naka.
And then you're like, ha, you made Balan Wonderworld. Anyway, yeah, Super Mario RPG. The game that makes me talk about other games, apparently.
Hey, somebody's got to talk about Balan Wonderworld.
But not us.
That's true. So what's going on in Super Mario RPG?
Let's see. I have a tendency to find everything that's inside on there because I want that sweet, sweet experience points so I can level up and get abilities.
I mean, that makes some sense.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He's good for the genocide ending.
Gosh. Let's see. I fought a couple of turtles, stole their hammer, smashing things with it, and faced a knife that took over Mac the Giant Knife. There we go. That's his name. Beat him up in the castle. I tried to do the skip so I could just go and grab the star and call it good. And the skip is like stupidly hard to do apparently, even though I've seen speedrunners who just one-shot it every time.
Yeah, well, they're used to, they take a lot of practice trying to do
You
those
say
things,
that,
so.
but if you look at the mechanics behind that, like someone explaining it, they're like, oh, you have to be on this exact frame when you do this thing right here. And it's just insanely stupid how it's like how would anyone ever do this frame perfectly every time? Doesn't mean I'm not going to try though. It's like if I get lucky and make the first jump, then it's like, all right, now I need to make the second jump, and this is where we're going to mess up definitely. But just kind of having fun, just trying to stay talkative on there, but really hard to do. I don't do well on streams when I'm by myself.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It's like if chat's keeping me company, that's great. If someone wants to come into the Discord or tells me to get in Discord, I'll talk to you on there. That works great as well.
Yeah, it just is weird to me to try to basically talk to myself.
Yeah, it's like I'm not Markiplier. I can't just talk to the camera and be charismatic at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't be charismatic at all.
I don't know that that's true.
It's debatable.
Stop. Do stop.
Oh, no, you.
Stop it. Tell me more.
Yeah, I don't know. If depending if I get more people watch me play that, I might just keep streaming it. I don't know.
This is Thursday.
This was just this was me playing it Thursday night. I guess I can make it weekly. I don't know. Depends if I've got stuff to edit or not. Because I didn't get it edited before.
Yeah, I think Fridays for me are going to be Final Fantasy Fridays for a while.
Final Fridays.
So, playing through Final Fantasy 13.
How far are you in 13?
Lightning, yeah.
Well, I literally just started, and I played maybe 45 minutes this week, just enough to get in and get past a couple of cutscenes, basically.
Okay.
So, I'll probably do an hour to an hour and a half a week, so it's going to take a while to get through Final Fantasy 13 at that rate.
You know what Super Mario RPG is missing?
What?
Chocobos.
Yeah. I have seen, I saw Chocobo, because you see a Chocobo in Final Fantasy 13 in the first few minutes. So.
Yeah, then you don't see them again for a good while.
That's true.
There's some Chocobos in 12.
You see them in 13 too. Quite a lot of them, and you ride them around. In fact, they have time distorted ones that are faster with more distortions.
That would be great.
Or was it Paradox? I think it was Paradox. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, we could just randomly talk Final Fantasy and Mario RPG for another 10, 15 minutes here, but
we probably could.
We should probably talk about some other stuff.
So, well, for me this week, I've been playing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this.
As one
not anything. Just sort of, I am playing this game, with the exception of maybe Paladins. Jake and I have gotten back into that a little bit, with the new season that just started for that.
Okay.
Because they've added, the new season is all about it's a video game themed season, sort of, with some of the characters and the skins and things of that nature. So they also made some changes to some behind the scenes stuff, like their battle pass that you normally would be able to subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
They, for the last few seasons, have been doing, I think it's 70 levels of the battle pass is what they've had. And they sort of got rid of that, and they've dropped it down to, I think, 20 or 24 levels. But then have replaced that with an overworld style map that has a bunch of different zones on it. And you unlock those zones, or those 3 of those zones can be unlocked. And then as the season goes on, it will unlock more parts of the map. And each of those sections of the map, when you unlock them, have 3 objectives that you're trying to complete. And when you complete that, you get a bunch of rewards for finishing that section of the map, and you're trying to fill in the whole map before the end of the season.
Okay.
And so it's things like heal for 250,000 points of damage. Not all at once, because you can't. It is possible to do that much in one match, but the match has to go really long, and you have to have some major healing skills. But just for, heal for that many points, or take out 15 frontline characters, or 15 damage characters, or 15 flank characters. Those are the types of objectives that you've got. Or I think one of them, which I got very quickly, because one of the characters I use has a weapon that has a high rate of fire. It's like fire 100,000 rounds. And so it's just basically shoot the gun as much as you possibly can. So
you're just smashing that button.
You're just holding down the fire button for the whole fight. Or my favorite one, and you know which people at the start of a game are trying to go for this one, because it's spray 15 times or 25 times. And so you'll see a character in the starting area because you have 4 different spray emotes basically that you've got. And you'll just see a character standing against a wall just spraying things over and over and over and again. So for like the 45 seconds before the match, that's all they're doing is they're just staring at the wall, spray painting things on it.
Nice.
So,
even if the game didn't tell me to.
I would too. There are a couple of maps that Jake and I have a little like pre-match routine where there's like one of the maps is called Frog Island, and it's got a couple of on the walls in the starting zones. A couple of they're not statues, but they're up on the wall of this like frog thing, and I'll go over there and I'll put the old rest in peace Mixer logo on its stomach, and he'll put a cowboy hat on it, and we call it our frog god. And every time we start that map, that's the first thing we have to do every single time.
Oh, Mixer.
So, yeah, rest in peace, Mixer.
Pieces.
Man, Mixer was so good, though.
Was it?
Yeah. It was.
It was handy.
So it was the streaming service that I had the best luck with. Video quality, stream stability. I never had an issue on Mixer with any of that stuff.
Mixer was the FaceTime of Xbox. Like specifically, it worked super well for Xbox, and then trying to use it on other services, I do not have such luck.
I think that comes from the benefit of being a Microsoft product.
Yeah,
could be.
So, Paladins is that game that Jake and I will get into we'll get in real heavy for a season, and then we'll look at the next season and we're like, oh, this battle pass looks stupid. I don't want to get anything for that. So we'll drop that game for a season and play something else for a while, and then come back to Paladins once there's another battle pass. And I've been playing on PC, which I hadn't done before. I'd always been playing on the PlayStation. But I broke down and bought the All Characters Pass for the PC, which also works on the Switch and the Xbox.
Nice.
Unfortunately, all of the progress I had made, the 200 or 300 hours of play on the PlayStation, all of that stuff is useless to me right now because I'm not playing on the PlayStation. So my character levels, all of the skins I'd gotten, all of the, crazy stuff I had accumulated on the PlayStation, I don't have access to right now because they won't open cross-save on the PlayStation. It's the only system you can't do that on. So I basically had to start over from scratch. I had no skins, no nothing. I've, accumulated a few of those things on the Xbox, but I've been playing it a lot on the PC, and I may find it very hard to go back to a console to play Paladins.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that one.
So, but that's what I've been playing this week, and then of course Final Fantasy 13. I started playing that. I think I will probably make that my regular Friday stream for a little while. Hopefully, I can pick up a little steam with some people that will be interested in watching Final Fantasy 13.
So, good luck with that.
Whether out of spite or out of interest, I don't care which. As long as you're watching my Final Fantasy 13 stream, I don't really care. So it's a game that I've talked about for a long time, wanting to replay, and I just broke down. I was like, I don't have anything that I really want to play right now, except for a little bit of Monster Hunter. I need to play something, and Final Fantasy 13 just happened to pop in my head. I was like, okay, fine. I'll play a little bit of Final Fantasy 13. So maybe I'll also play a little bit of Animal Crossing on the GameCube, because I don't think any of the kids will want to play that game. We'll see. So, but that is it for me. So let's take a quick break. We got a couple of quick news stories to hit, and we'll be back. All right. A little bit of news. There was not a ton of stuff that happened in the news this week. One thing that did happen, Nintendo out of the blue, like they do, it seems anytime they have one of these presentations, they drop the news of it 24 hours before it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they did an Indie World presentation this week that lasted about 20 minutes. And a few things came out, not a ton of stuff that I thought was super exciting, but I know a lot of people, there were some things that did. So some of the stuff that was announced, there is a game called Road 96 that's coming to Switch, which is they're calling a procedurally generated road trip adventure. It's one of those games that looks like a walking simulator style thing where you're just wandering around and the story kind of happens around you.
Oh yeah, that was that thing where just like random stuff happens, like you get in with the bikers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
There's a 3D runner called Aerial Knights Never Yield, which is set in a futuristic Tokyo, which there is a demo available on the eShop right now. This one actually looked really interesting. I think I'm going to check this one out. The demo is available on the Switch right now. So it's got a very heavy emphasis on the soundtrack with that one. So
is it actually a good soundtrack, or?
I mean, it's it's
okay.
It's futuristic cyber. It's exactly what you would expect from like a a cyberpunk style game. So, but it's side scrolling. It's very minimalistic in some of its visuals. So that's why they put a heavy emphasis on the music. Well, one of the ones that I saw that came out from this that I actually was really interested in is a new Ollie Ollie game called Ollie Ollie World. Which, if you know anything about Ollie Ollie, it's 2D skateboarding game that is really it's really hard. I don't know if you've played the Ollie Ollie games before at all.
I've seen stuff on it. I just didn't have any interest, but apparently people like it.
This one goes away from the sort of real world environments that they've been in into a weird fantasy world where weird, crazy things are happening. Like, there's one world that looks like it's made of breakfast foods, with like ice cream bars and donuts in the background, and another one looks like an Adventure Time style world.
Nice.
So they're going very crazy with the environments. This one looks quite a bit different in terms of visuals than the previous ones had. They were very pixelated, sort of 8-bit style things, and this looks more hand drawn in that respect. So they showed off the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Yes.
And confirmed that would be coming to Switch. That is definitely probably the highlight of this presentation for me was this one. I will be playing that day one. I do not care. I want that game on every system.
You're going to have to get it because it's not going to be on the store long at all because you know how quickly those get pulled every time.
It does seem like those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games do get pulled
it's
pretty
like
frequently.
They sit on the store for like 3 months, then there's like some stupid copyright or lease agreement thing that expires, and it's like, all right, it's gone now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will have that game on multiple systems, I'm sure. That's one of those games that everybody's going to be like, I want to play this, and everybody's going to have it on different systems. So we're going to have it, 3 or 4 different times. If nothing else, I want to have it 3 or 4 different times just to say, hey, make more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games.
I'm all for that.
So, I saw some people talking about a Konami game coming out.
Didn't hear anything about that.
Maybe they're just doing the publishing. It's called Getsu Fumadin Undying Moon. It's being developed by Guru Guru.
I have no idea who that is.
I swear I saw some people attaching Konami's name to this game in some way. This is a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania style game that looks very much like a Vanillaware game.
Oh, okay.
So, like Muramasa, it's that style of art to it, and it looks really good.
They always look like flash art to me. It just doesn't settle right. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, it just bugs me.
Like,
that's why I can't play Dragon's Crown. It looks annoying to me.
This one does have a little bit of like I just went blank. Okami. It has a little bit of that style to it as well.
Okay.
So, trying to see what else stuck out in my head. House of the Dead is coming to Switch.
That actually got spoiled like a few days before that, but yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. People were like, "Oh, really? That's coming? That's cool." And that was about it on that conversation.
Yeah. So, like, that seems like the perfect type of game to come to the Switch. You can have the Joy-Cons and use those as a,
well, you would think that House of the Dead would have came to, like, Wii, because House of the Dead 2 and 3 came to Wii. Well, it was House of the Dead 3 with 2 added in there as an unlockable.
Yeah.
I don't think 4 did. I think 4 was only on PS3 or something, wasn't it?
That seems.
And I can never get like the good ending on 4 on that smaller mini after story thing they have.
So, House of the Dead remake is being done by the same studio that did the Panzer Dragoon remake.
I need to play that. I have it on the shelf.
A couple other high-profile games that are coming were Fez was announced for Switch, and that is out now. That actually came out the same day as the Indie World presentation. So
I'm wondering what went into the process of getting permission for that.
Like, I swore up and down that game would have already been on the Switch. That's one of those games that, if it wasn't for the fact that I know this is a brand new announcement, I would have sworn. If you just said, "Hey, is Fez on the Switch?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it's been on there forever." But apparently that's not the case.
I don't think it couldn't have been on Switch before, mostly because the developer and issues with people having opinions online. And so he kind of he's like, all right, forget it. You're not getting the sequel.
And
I think that was like Wii U and all that at the time. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know that game is on everything else. It's one of those that it had to have been on the system, but it's not. So, but it is out now. So, and then their big. Hold on, we've got one more thing to announce. At the end of the thing was a sequel to Oxenfree called Oxenfree 2: Lost Signals, which I know the name Oxenfree. I see it scrolling through things occasionally. I have no clue what Oxenfree is. I've never played it. I've never seen anybody playing it. From the trailer, it looks a little bit like point and click adventure style game.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. It takes place immediately after the first game, where the main character goes back to her hometown and more mysterious things have started happening.
Okay. Cole, did you fall asleep?
Nope. Although it probably sounds like I'm snoring.
It did.
Sorry.
We were about to have a really good episode.
That would have been fun.
I try to usually mute myself when I'm talking because I breathe pretty heavy at night.
So that's really it. We can put a link to the full presentation if you haven't seen it yet in the show notes, or just go to Nintendo's YouTube page, check it out. It's like 20 minutes long. It'll show you everything that was announced.
Yeah. Well, don't be confused if you go to their YouTube page, because the video is like an hour long on there. 30 minutes of it is just sitting there watching the countdown timers or looking at it. It's like, oh, starting soon, and then it just doesn't happen for 30 minutes.
So there's that. And then, we're just a couple of months away from E3, which is crazy to think. Square Enix, not Square Enix? No, not Square Enix. Sorry, Ubisoft has announced that they are going to be doing a presentation on June 12th. I just wanted to throw that out there. I saw that scrolling through the news a minute ago. So they will be doing one of their Ubisoft showcases.
You think it'll be more or less cringy since it'll be pre-recorded?
I don't know which direction they go with it. Like, I could see Square Enix just going really weird with it, because they always do like
Ubisoft?
half a dozen live music performances that nobody cares about.
I thought we were talking Ubisoft.
That's what I mean. Did I say Square Enix again?
Yes, you did.
Why do I have Square Enix on the brain?
Final Fantasy Fridays.
Maybe that's
Final
it.
Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean
That
Ubisoft.
Final Fantasy Fridays. What?
Yeah, Ubisoft will do a Just Dance thing every year where they get a bunch of people out on stage and dance, and nobody cares about that. So they can either just go fully crazy with it or tame that back and just be like, okay, here's some trailers, enjoy. Have Mario and Rabbids 2, because that's what I want to be announced this year by Ubisoft.
No, you want them to announce a new Assassin's Creed, admit it.
Maybe. Like, I don't want to say I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh, it's another Assassin's Creed game. I want them to make some changes to the Assassin's Creed. Like, I want them to go the direction like with Yakuza, where their open world is much more contained in a smaller area, and there's a lot of stuff to do in that small area. Having the huge, gigantic, sprawling, empty open worlds is not super fun. The last couple of games have been better, but not great. So,
okay.
I would definitely be like, oh, hey, a new Assassin's Creed. What is it going to be? And I will play it because I play every Assassin's Creed game, because that's what I do. But I want them to make a much more focused open world game.
One that's less RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, get it back to a
one that's
stealthy...
not an Assassin's Creed game that does not emulate being a video game.
Exactly. Oh, but speaking of Square Enix, maybe this is why I had Square Enix on the brain. Bloomberg in Japan this week came out, I think it was Thursday, and said, people are interested in buying Square Enix. And they said there have been reports of multiple interested buyers in Square Enix. And within a few minutes, Square Enix was like, no, that's not true. Their response was, we do not consider selling off the company or any part of its business, nor have we received any offer from any third party to acquire the company or any part of its businesses.
Meanwhile, Bloomberg in Japan's like, where's the intern? We'll blame it on him.
Exactly. I thought that was just that, Square Enix being bought comes up every couple of years. People are always like, Square Enix is going to get bought this year, and it never happens because they're not interested in selling the company right now to anybody. So I thought it was really funny that report came out, and then Square Enix was like, y'all wrong, because that ain't happening.
Those are exact words.
So instead of we have no comment or just ignoring the report, they were just flat out, nope, not true. So don't get your hopes up. Microsoft is not buying Square Enix. Nintendo is not buying Square Enix. Tencent is not buying Square Enix.
Thank God.
So And then lastly, I just wanted to bring this up. F-Zero, a former Nintendo employee, Takaya Imamura, who has worked on a number of different games at Nintendo, was talking to IGN this week, and the topic of F-Zero came up. And he said, of course I've thought about it many times, but without a grand idea, it's hard to bring it back. He also followed up with the outlet, noting that even though he's no longer with the company, he says, F-Zero's not dead, it's just asleep. Or it's just resting.
It's in cryostasis.
It's on life support if it's not dead.
Wake me if you need me.
So, people, every year are like, man, when is F-Zero coming back? What kind of grand idea do you really need for a racing game? Put some tracks together, throw some floating cars on it, put the title F-Zero in front of it, and sell it.
Well, you gotta slap some good music in there, too.
Okay, that's true.
Round at the speed of sound.
So, and it's not unusual for Nintendo to revive long, dormant franchises. Luigi's Mansion, it was 12 years between the first game and the second game.
It was. I mean, it's also considering that you're saying Luigi's Mansion is a franchise.
Well, it is now. It wasn't originally. Kid Icarus.
The trilogy is complete.
Kid Icarus, it was like 20-something years between the I guess the second game, because there were two originally.
Yeah, even though the Game Boy was supposed to be like just a remake of the first game, but it was more.
Yeah. And then it's been over 10 years, I think, at this point since the game on the 3DS. So F-Zero, if it's not dead, they still do roll it out every once in a while. It was in Mario Kart 8. It was in Nintendo Land.
I was about to say it had a release in some form.
So, would you be interested in a new F-Zero game?
Me personally, no. It's not a series I've played before.
See, I'm the same way. What about you, Cole? Have you played F-Zero? Are you a big F-Zero fan?
No. My extensive knowledge on F-Zero is
Falcon Punch.
About it, yeah.
So it's never been a franchise that I've been like, I want a new game. I was not a big fan of the Super Nintendo game. I've always been Mario Kart over F-Zero. That's not to say I wouldn't play an F-Zero game if they brought it out and it was the best racing game I've ever seen. With racing games, I think Nintendo just does not want to touch Mario Kart 8 right now. That game is still selling insanely well.
Game's so nice, they made it twice. Pretty
much. And it is still in the top 10 sellers every month. So that's one of those games where you want the next entry, but if the game's selling that well, Nintendo's not going to put out another game. So it's looking like the Switch may not have its own exclusive Mario Kart game. But, there you go. Maybe that'll be the launch game for the next system.
It's like every system since every home console since Super Nintendo had a Mario Kart of its own.
Yes, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Wii U. Switch is the first one that hasn't. Handhelds, I don't know if that's the case.
No.
Well, GBA, DS, 3DS, they all had their own.
Game Boy Color, though.
That's true. But that was before the GBA.
Virtual Boy?
Yeah, but was it before Mario Kart existed?
That I don't know.
I don't think it was.
I don't know. I don't remember the exact timeline, but so like there are companies I would like to see get the chance to make an F-Zero game. Shin'en Multimedia is the first one that comes to mind. they did the Fast Racing series. I think they would be a fantastic choice to make an F-Zero game. But I don't know. Nintendo just doesn't seem interested in touching F-Zero anymore. But we shall see. But that will be, unless you guys have anything else, that will be the show for this week.
Cool.
So, thank you very much, Cole, for being here.
Remember to feed the cats.
I will do that.
Because the cats will remember that you didn't feed them.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to wake up to a cat gnawing on my toes because I forgot to feed it.
And to be fair, even if you don't feed them, they'll say you did. Or even if you do feed them, they'll say you didn't feed them.
I've never been fed. It's been 323 years since my last meal.
Just shake the bowl a little bit. They'll be like, "Thank you so much."
Yeah, that's also true.
Well, and thank you very much, Ethan, for being here as well.
See everyone next time. And let us know if you're really enjoying the audio version, having it on your podcast apps again.
Yes. It seemed the response so far to us seems very positive to the audio version. We'd love to know what you guys think of the audio version of the show. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can send us an email to procedurallygeneratedent@gmail.com or direct message us on Twitter at ProGenENT. Facebook users can join our Facebook group by searching for Procedurally Generated. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast by going to Podbean or by searching for us on whatever podcast app you